Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions the Card Game, I start Scenario 1 of the Galaxy's Most Wanted against the Brotherhood of Badoon. So down at Alpha Flight Station, Earth's orbit, Commander, we're under attack by the Badoon. We're sustaining heavy fire. Divert emergency power to the shields. I'm headed out. There's too many of them. Send the distress signal. Alpha Flight, this is Star-Lord. The Guardians of the Galaxy are here to help. We better get paid for this, Quill. I am Groot. So that is the beginning of a new scenario book for Marvel Champions. So we are taking on the Scenario 1, Brotherhood of Badoon. They have mounted a surprise attack against Earth. You and the other Guardians of the Galaxy rush to Earth's aid, teaming up with the mighty Avengers in the process to beat back the Badoon. However, the Brotherhood of Badoon's leader, Drang, is a skilled tactician with a fleet of powerful ships and an overwhelming number of soldiers at his side. This won't be an easy fight. So we need to set up our villain deck that we'll take a look at and go through some setup. So for our setup, I am going standard mode, just since this is my first time through it, just seeing how it all works. Scheme of 1, attack of 2 for the first version of Drang. Force response. After he schemes, resolve the Badoon ship's charge up ability. We'll look at that here shortly. I'm using 2 players, so he's going to come with 13 health per player, so up to 26. His invasion. Got all his cards out here. We've got the Brotherhood of Badoon, Band of Badoon, Ship Command, Standard, and then a Badoon Headhunter. And that is shown in the campaign setup instructions here. Then set up, put the Badoon ship environment and the Milano support into play. So our ship, charge up, special, place a barrage counter here. Then if there are 4 more barrage counters here, deal 2 indirect damage to each player and remove all barrage counters from here. Then the Milano, permanent setup. The first player controls the Milano. For the piloting skill, has a resource, exhaust the Milano, generate a wild resource for any player. So those 2 are automatically getting set up. Then on this side, threshold of 8 per player. Drang's overwhelming forces have mounted a surprise attack against Earth. Force response. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, resolve the Badoon ship's charge up ability. Then first player action, exhaust the Milano, remove 3 threat from the scheme. And it's going to start with 2 threat per player on it, and we get 2 per player every turn. And we're going to protect the planet, which we hope we don't need to deal with. So since we are starting a new campaign, we're going to record our identity. Like I said, I am using Rocket and Groot. Reveal the Badoon Blitz side scheme. So there is an expert and standard. I am on standard. So hinder 3, when revealed, place 3 threat per player here. Victory, when defeated, add to our victory display. And when defeated, each player may draw a card. So it's getting 2 threat plus the hinder. And shuffle the Badoon Headhunter, card 183 minion into the encounter deck. So scheme of 1, attack of 1, 7 health, 2 victory points, and he's villainous. So when this minion activates, he gets a boost card. So we'll shuffle all these together and take a look at our heroes. So Rocket Raccoon, thwart of 2, attack of 1, defense of 1. Ability is murdered you as a response after you deal excess damage to an enemy. Draw a card, hand size of 5, hit points of 9. Recovery of 3, tinkering as an action, choose and discard a tech upgrade you control and draw 2 cards in a hand size of 6. So this is his pre-constructed deck, going with aggression. I am having him be first player, so he's got the Milano, and I am going to make 3 changes here. I don't like having an ally, so I am glad they want the basic card, so it's not part of his main deck. Since Groot is going to be my other hero, I'm going to remove this, along with 2 of the boots. Play only if your identity has the Guardian trait, and it's max 1 per player. So typically I don't like putting in 3 of a card that I can only get 1 in the field to start with. So replacing those 3, since the Avengers are helping in this fight, we're going to have Spider-Girl come in, the Hulk, and Valkyrie. So that's going to be my 40 card deck for Rocket Raccoon. And then for Groot, thwart of 1, attack of 2, defense of 3. Thor Colossus as a force interrupt. When Groot would take any amount of damage, remove that many growth counters from him. For each growth counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. Hand size of 5 and 10 for hit points. Alter Ego, recovery of 4. Growth Spurt as an action, place 2 growth counters on him to a maximum of 10 and a hand size of 6. And he's got some similar things going on here too. Since my other hero is Rocket Raccoon, I'm going to exchange that card out. Deft Focus, max 1 per player, so I'm going to take 2 of those out. And since I'm only playing with 2 players, I'll take 1 Dauntless out. And we're going to replace those 4 cards, bringing in Nova, Brother Voodoo, Clea, and an Endurance. So other than those minor changes, that is his pre-constructed deck. All right, almost ready for our first play with Rocket and Groot going against Drang. So, not very familiar with hardly anything in this counter stack. And just a quick look at the cards on both sides there. So we each start with 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've got Looking for Trouble, Schadenfreude, Chase Him Down, Into the Fray, some Rocket Boots, and a Chase Him Down. And for first turn, I'm not thrilled with any of these. I'll keep the boots just in case. Everything else is terrible. Valkyrie, Relentless Assault, Genius, I've Got a Plan, and a Rocket Launcher. And for Groot, 6 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Dauntless, Fruition, Endurance, Starhawk, Root Stomp, and some Vines. I always like having some allies. Fruition's nice, I guess. Don't know if it's needed this early. Let's see. Endurance might be huge in this game. Yeah, we'll pitch those. We'll keep the Fruition. Getting Nova and Hard to Ignore. All right, for Rocket, we're just going to flip on over. We are going to play our Thruster Boots. While in hero form, we get +1 thwart and gain the Aerial trait. We use Milano to remove 3 threat. We use Rocket to remove 3 threat. Bring in Valkyrie. Thwart to 1, attack of 2, 3 health. After she enters play, deal 2 damage to a minion. Would be dealing 3, but we don't have minions, but she'll come in and strike for our first damage on Drang, down to 24. Then I'm going to use a die here. Use his action to get 2 growth counters. Go ahead and flip over. Use Fruition. It's an action, place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10. Then we're going to bring in Starhawk. Thwart to 1, attack of 2 at 3 health. Interrupt. When he takes damage exactly equal to his remaining hit points, return him to your hand. He'll come in and swing for 2. And while we're doing it, Groot will swing for 2, down to 20. And I think we're going to go ahead and just bring in Endurance to give Rocket Raccoon +3 health. So up to 12. And that's going to be your turn. We are going to keep our rocket launcher, so 4 more cards on this side. A hand cannon, Looking for Trouble, Salvage, and Follow Through. 5 cards on this side. Hard to Ignore, I Am Groot, Fighting Fit, Indomitable, and Lashing Vines. All right, so this main scheme, 2 threat per player. And that has us, after resolving step 1, resolve the Badoon ship's charge ability, which once again, place a barrage counter there. Then if there's 4 more counters there, deal 2 indirect damage to each player and remove all the counters. Then attacking. I think we're just going to take it. A base 2, 3. If this activation is a scheme, this card gets +2 boost icons. So 3 damage coming our way. We're back down to 9. Attacking over here, Groot will defend. 1-2, resolve the Badoon ship charge ability. So 2 counters and no damage. So in counter cards, first one, Badoon Warlord. Scheme of 1, attack of 3 or 4 health. His attacks gain overkill. And Cannonade, hinder 3 per player. First player action, exhausted Milano, remove 3 threat from this scheme, and it's got our new symbol which adds boosts to and counter cards. So it's going to be 6-7 threat. And I'm asking who's going to be my thwart person. All right, just to make sure, the amplify icon increases number of boost icons on boost cards. Turn faced up during an enemy activation. Add 1 additional boost to that card. All right. Let's pass first player. So we're going to scheme for 1, which is going to do the equal amount of damage on him. So back to our hand. Then we're going to bring him back out. And attack for 2 here. Then I am Groot. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. So he's got 4 counters, so 4 damage. Put that on the main villain down to 16. Then we're going to give Rocket a hand cannon. So restricted means we can only have 2 of those in play. Uses 3 charge counters, hero interrupt. When your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust hand cannon and remove 1 charge counter from it. Your hero gets +2 attack for this attack, and the attack gains overkill. So he is going to attack here for base 1, 2, 3. It's going to have overkill of 1, down to 15. And because of his ability, after you deal excess damage to an enemy, draw a card. On the Hulk. Man, I hate pitching the Hulk. But I want to get that in play. But at the moment, we don't have minions with us, so it's probably not going to get played. So we're going to bring in the Hulk with Savage. And I'm not going to attack with him because he'd end up killing my people. So after you spin this card, put a tech upgrade from your discard pile on top of your deck. I don't know if I have any, but let's see. Tactic. Nope, no tech. And Hulk is going to stay there for defending. Valkyrie's going to swing for 2. Down to 13. And the Milano, we'll use that to remove 3 threats. You know what? Scheming for 1. Oh, that's 6. Never mind. Back to the original plan. All right. So then Milano is going to remove 3 threat from here. That's going to end her turn. Keeping her rocket launcher, 4 more cards. I've got a plan, a reload, energy, and into the fray. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Power protection, def focus, I am Groot, desperate defense, and fighting fit. 4 threat, so we're up to 9. Get our 3rd counter. Then attacking, Groot's going to defend. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage coming our way. We block 3 and take 1 off of here. Valkyrie defends on this side for 1, 2, 3, 4. And counter cards. Villain attacks you. Well, Hulk's here for a reason. 1, 2, 3 damage on him. And Crisis on Half-World. Give to the Rocket Raccoon player. You may flip to alter ego form. Choose. Exhaust your alter ego to remove Crisis on Half-World from the game, or discard the highest cost upgrade you control. No upgrade was discarded this way. This card gains Surge, and discard the obligation. Well, we're flipping over and exhausting to remove that from the game. And pass first player. We're going to use the... Are we going to? Yes, Milano. That thing's getting annoying. Rocket's going to use his ability. Yeah, we're going to pitch or attack to draw 2 cards. Get some more boots and our upgrade. So go ahead and bring that in. So you get +3 hit points, while in hero form you have +1 attack. So back up to 12 again. Then we're going to bring in the rocket launcher. Restricted, enters play with 2 charge counters on it. Hero action, exhaust it, remove 1 charge counter from it. Choose a player, deal 2 damage to the villain, and each minion engage with that player. So we're done on, now he will flip over. Then on this side, thwarting for 1. Exact damage, back to our hand. Power of protection, he's back out again. Gonna thwart for 1. Then we're going to put in Death Focus, max 1 per player. It's a hero action, exhaust this, reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. And that ends our turn. I'm seeing the downside of that thing. I like him for thwart. But anyway, we are going to keep these 2 cards. So drawing 3, Fertile Ground, Flora and Fauna, and another Desperate Defense. Going to keep I've Got a Plan, so 4 more. Salvage, Rocket Pistol, another Hand Cannon, and Flora and Fauna. All right, 4 threat. We go to 4 on this, which means 2 indirect damage on both sides. I'll put 1 on the Hulk, 1 here, 1 on Star Hulk, and he takes 1. Then attacking, Hulk defends for 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice to see Wilt go away. Then attacking over here, we will defend for base 2, 3, 4. So 1 breaks through, then encounter cards. Badoon Grunt, Schema 2, attack of 2 at 2 health, force response. After the grunt engages you, if there are no other minions engaged with you, deal yourself 1 face down encounter card. That's nasty. Which triggers now. Badoon Assassin, Schema 1, attack of 1, 1 health, force response. After he engages your hero, it attacks you with +2 attack. It's nasty too. 3 damage coming in, down to 8. Then a Rogue Vessel, Surge, Forced Interrupt. When the villain phase ends, deal 1 damage to each player. Goodness. First player action, exhaust a Milano and spend 2 resources of any type to discard this card. So when the villain phase ends, which is now, down to 1, and we lose a counter. Ooh, those are nasty cards. Well, we're going to make our next superpower card 1 less. No, we're not. I Am Groot does no good if we don't have any counters on us. So in that case, we're going to bring in Fertile Ground, Alter Ego action, exhaust it, place a growth counter on Groot to a max of 10 and draw a card. Then we're going to play Flora and Fauna, team up with Groot and Rocket Raccoon. And one of the nice things about these characters is we are Groot on both sides and Rocket Raccoon on both sides. So we've got an option here. Hero action, place 2 growth counters on Groot to a max of 10 and ready him, or place 2 charge counters on a Rocket Raccoon upgrade and ready that upgrade. So we're just going to give ourselves 2 counters and ready Groot. And attack for 2 on the big guy, down to 11. So we're going to declare an attack here. So that's going to give us +2 attack and overkill. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 overkill, down to 9. Use his ability to draw a card into some strength. Then we're going to use this. Move a counter, choose a player, deal 2 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. So down to 7. Excess damage. Make sure I'm right. Yep, that's not limited. Draw a card into a Relentless Assault. Hey, we've got flora and fauna. Let's do the other side of this. So we're going to place 2 charge counters on a Rocket Raccoon upgrade and ready that upgrade. Going to be our rocket launcher. Going to use that to remove 3 threat from a scheme. Let's see what kind of tech we have hiding in here. Just some boots. All right. Let me see. We will overpay. Enters player 3 charge counters on it, exhaust it to remove a counter and deal 2 damage to an enemy. After you spin this card, put a tech upgrade from your deck pile on top of your deck. So we're putting the boosters on top. We can only have 2 restricted, so that means one of these is going away. 3 counters. We'll do that. Exhaust the pistol, remove 1 charge counter from it to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So down to 5 health. And we're going to end our turn. I'm going to wait till I have minions in play to utilize that. I think we're going to do some thwarting next turn, so keeping strength, and I've got a plan. Hand cannon will discard. We're going to keep desperate defense. So 3 more cards over here. Got our boots, follow through, and into the fray. And 4 more cards over here. Vine spikes, a root stomp, another defense, and a shield. So 4 threat, we're up to 12 out of 16. Get a counter. Just going to throw that there to help me remember the end of the villain phase to do that. So he's attacking over here. Groot's going to defend. 1, 2, no damage coming through. Over on this side, I think we're going to say goodbye to Star Hulk for 2 damage. Our encounter cards. Badoon Grunt. So once again, after he engages you, get an encounter card. We're in that phase, so an Oppressive Armada. Hinder 3, first player action, exhaust a Milano to remove 3 threat from the scheme. So it's coming in with 7. And a Badoon Sentry. Scheme of 1, attack of 1, 5 health, and retaliate 1. And move our first player. Alright, so we're going to go into the fray. Hero action, deal 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by this attack, remove a threat from the main scheme. So he's soaking up 2 4s going through. We get to draw a card and to follow through. Use Milano. Let me see. Yeah, we've got a plan. So we're going to thwart down on the Armada. If you make a basic thwart using your thwart, ready Rocket Raccoon, he gets +1 thwart while in hero form until the end of the phase. So we thwarted for 2. Now we ready. +1 thwarts, so going for 3. Use the Milano to remove the rest of those. And I'm thinking maybe he should be our thwart player. All right, then I'm going to use a rocket launcher. So it's not an attack. Choose a player and just deal 2 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. So down to 3. And 2 damage. Then we're going to shoot for 2. Down to 1. Make our next superpower card reduced by 1. So we can do a root stomp, deal 5 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, place a growth counter on Groot. So we're defeating this guy. So retaliate doesn't trigger, and we get a counter. Then we're going to bring in a Vine Shield. Hero Interrupt. When Groot defends against an attack, remove a growth counter from him and exhaust a Vine Shield. Groot gets +3 defense for that attack. And end our turn. We're going to keep our boots and our desperate defense. So 4 cards on both sides. I am Groot, Brother Voodoo, a root stomp, and hard to ignore. And over here, Spider-Girl, a pistol, a cannon, and a battery pack. 4 threat. We're up to 12. Get a counter. Getting attacked. And that should be ready. Groot is going to defend on this one. With a desperate defense, it's +2 defense for the attack. If you take no damage from the attack, ready your hero. So we've got a defense of 5 and 3 there. So 1, 2, 4 damage coming in. So we take no damage and ready. And then he's going to defend on himself. We'll go ahead and spin the counter to give us +3 defense. So good thing we did. 5 damage coming in. We've got a defense of 6. So in counter cards, the Warlord, Schema 1, attack of 3 or 4 health. His attacks gain overkill. And the Badoon Headhunter. Oh, goodness. Schema 1, attack of 1, 7 health. 2 victory points. Villainous, so when he activates, give him a boost card. And we pass first player. All right, we're going to make the next superpower replay one cheaper. Doing a root stomp. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, place a growth counter on Groot. We're going to take out that guy. So get a counter. And we're done. We're going to use the rocket launcher over here. 2 damage to the villain, which will defeat him with some overkill. And 2 there. So we're going to trigger us drawing a card into a battery pack. Trigger Drang into getting upset. Scheme of 2, attack of 3, when revealed. If Drang's spear's in play, give him a face-down boost card. Otherwise, searching counter deck and discard pile for it and reveal it. And I think we just discarded it. Yep. So attached to Drang, he gains Stalwart, cannot be stunned and confused. Hero action, spend a mental and 2 physical to discard it, +1 attack. And he's coming back with 28 health. And the same forced response. And I forgot to do that last turn. Everyone should have taken a damage. .28 health. Gonna take her last bullet for 2 damage over here. Use Milano to remove 3 threat. Bring in Spider-Girl. After you play her from your hand, stun and confuse a minion. It's just for those the right ones I want to spend. So she's going to come in and swing for 2 over here. So he's up to 6. And he's stunned and confused. Then we're going to swap out his pistols with another pistol, so that one gets discarded. 3 counters on it. Go to shoot. Overkill. Well, it's not overkill, but we spent more than was needed. And he goes to our victory display. So we've got 2 victory points. And we get to draw a card into a reload. But we're going to bring in our boots, giving us +1 thwart. Then do a thwart for 3 or flip over and heal. That's the question here. I think there's a chance I can thwart for 3 and maybe not trigger that. So we'll go ahead and flip over. End our turn. We're going to keep Brother Voodoo, so drawing 4. Clea, Fruition, Energy, and Strength. 3 cards over here. Hand Cannon, Bug, and Looking for Trouble. Cannon and Counter card and Shuffle. So we got 3 more cards coming. Battery Pack. He's got a plan and into the fray. So 4 threat. Up to 10. Get a counter. Attacking over here. Spider Girl will defend for 5 damage. Scheming over here for base 2. Put the grunt into play, engage with you. That's not cool. And when he comes into play, we get an encounter card, so he's scheming for 2. Then that guy's scheming for 2. So we're up to 14. Then we get encounter cards. That went bad quick. Got a blockade. Hinder 2 per player. First player action can exhaust a Milano to remove 3 threat from the scheme. So it's getting a total of 6 on it. And that locks that down. Then Surge. Into a Surge. Into a Badoon Assassin. After he engages your hero, he attacks. We're not a hero. Spatial Positioning. It's also Milano to remove 3 threat from here, so it's got that icon, so it's getting 6 on it. And a Sentry. Schema 1, attack 1, 5 health, and retaliate. And pass first player. Well, all that is not what we wanted to see. Nor that. Oh yeah, and he schemed. So that went to 4, so 2 indirect damage. Then the end of the turn, 1 damage each. All right, we're going to use his ability, get rid of the boots to draw 2 cards. Got a pistol and a hand cannon. Then we're going to heal for 3 up to 6. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, which will be the blockade. And the blockade is ruining that card for us. So out of frustration, we're going to shoot a rocket launcher. Deal 2 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with us. So down to 26. Down. 2 damage. It's not an attack. And excess damage on that one. So we draw a card. Of course, I am flipped over now. So we got to reload. Well, since there's nothing we can do about the threat situation, we're going to bring in a battery pack, giving us 2 charge counters. It's an action exalt set to move a charge counter from this card to another tech upgrade you control. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then we're going to shoot Drang down to 24. Then we're going to bring in a bug. Thwart a one, attacking one with 2 health. To make a basic attack, we can heal the damage from him, but he's just coming in. He'll thwart for 1. Then we've got a plan, except it calls for a reload. So ready each tech upgrade you control. So 2 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with us, down to 22. 4. Use that to do 2 damage over here, which is 2 more damage than was needed, and doesn't retaliate since we killed him. Allows us to draw a card. Like I said, that's not an attack. Then we're going to bring in our other pistol and shoot for 2. Down to 20. Then we're going to bring in Clea. So thwart a 1, attack 1, 2 health. After she's defeated, shuffle her back in. Then we'll bring in Brother Voodoo. Thwart a 2, attack of 1, 3 health. After he enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add it to your hand, then shuffle our deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are Groot. That looks good. We're going to take that. And these get shuffled back in. Going to make our next superpower one cheaper. Hero action, remove up to 4 growth counters from Groot. Choose that many friendly characters. Give each of those characters a tough status card. Wait, we're going to hold off on that. So Voodoo's thwarting for 2. The blockade is down. Clea will thwart for 1. Yeah, except that one we're going to put over here. That is lost to us. Groot is swinging for 2. Down to 18. Now we're going to be Groot. Remove up to 4 growth counters using that. Choose that many friendly characters to give each of those a tough status card. We're going to spend all 3. So Rocket, Groot, and Bug. That's going to end our turn. We will discard that, so drawing 5. Reload, energy, hand cannon, some boots, and Valkyrie. 5 on this side. Dominable, Genius, Protection, Dauntless, and Fighting Fit. We are no longer fit, that's for sure. All right, 4 threats coming out. So we've got 14, we're going to 18, which triggers this going through. So protect the planet. When revealed, resolve the Badoon ship charge up ability. And then we go here. So after resolving step 1, resolve the charge up ability. First player action, exhaust the Milano to remove 3 threat from here. Oops, I'm reading the wrong one. Yes, still has the charge up ability. First player action, exhaust the Milano. Choose to either remove 3 threat from this scheme or deal 3 damage to a minion. This stage is completed. We lose the game. 4 threat per player. That's not much. So 8 threat. Okay, attacking over here. Rocket takes it for 4, 5, 6. We lose tough. Attacking over here. Groot takes it. 4. Resolve the ability. And we lost tough. And acceleration token. And shuffle. Get some encounter cards here. Getting ganged up on. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Alright, Bug defends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Bug is tough. Over here. Ooh, wilting. Not cool. May flip their alter ego form. We will. Exhaust your alter ego to remove this from the game, or other option was remove 3 growth counters from Groot. If no growth counters were removed this way, the card gains surge. So we're removing this from the game and passing first player. All right, Groot's going to use his ability to gain 2 counters. Then he's Fertile Ground, gain a counter and draw a card. Into I Am Groot. Spending 3, remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on him. We get in a counter card and shuffle. Alright, so we're going to flip over. Use a Milano to remove 3 threat from a scheme. Use Brother Voodoo to remove 2 threat from a scheme. That's going to be more than he can handle. And I think I forgot that once again. 1 damage to each player. Groot is going to Fighting Fit. Hero action, deal 2 damage to the villain, 5 damage instead if your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero's starting hit points, which it isn't, but 2 damage is 2 damage, and those are the cards I have. So 16. I Am Groot. Well, we're going to make our next superpower one cheaper. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot, which is 3. Then Indomitable, after your hero defends, discard this to ready your hero. Clea is going to stick around a little bit longer. We're going to bring in some booster boots, play only if we have the Guardian trait, max 1 per player. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, exhaust the boots, discard the top card of your deck to prevent 1 of that damage. Then we're going to bring in Valkyrie, thwart a 1 attack of 2, 3 health. After she enters play, deal 2 damage to a minion. We don't have any minions. Would have been 3. But she's going to come in and swing for 2. Down to 14. Then use that for 2. Down to 12. And transfer 1 to our rocket launcher and hold on to that. And yeah, winning's more important instead of victory points. 2 damage. Ending her turn. So 5 cards for both sides. Dauntless, I Am Groot, Starhawk, Vine Spikes, and Fighting Fit. The Hulk, chase him down, relentless assault, follow through, and into the fray. So now we're getting 5, so up to 10. This is going to trigger. So indirect damage. Groot puts 2 on that. Valkyrie is going to take 1. Rocket takes 1. Then attacking, we're going to defend. Spend a growth counter to give us +3 defense. So it's a base 4. This is an attack and gets +2, so he's doing 6, but we have a defense of 6. Then we're going to ready our hero. Attacking over here. Clea defends. So base 4, 5 damage. She gets shuffled back in. And counter cards. All right, a Badoon Grunt. Yeah, we hates this guy. So after he engages you, if there are no other minions, deal yourself a face down and counter card. Which then your villain's going to scheme. Ooh, that's one way to lose this game. 1, 2, 3. So 13. Scheming is going to put a token there. Then another grunt. Then an engineer. After engages you or activates against you, resolve his ship ability, scheme of 2, attack of 1, and 3 health. And I believe we need to win this turn or give up. Oh yes, we each take a damage. Down to 3 and down to 4. All right, Rocket with the Milanos, using that as a wild resource. We're going to make that physical, deal 5 damage to a minion. If you paid for this card using a physical resource, we get overkill. So soaks up 3, 2 breaks through, and we get to draw a card into strength. Going to use our rocket launcher, targeting over here. 2 damage to the villain, 2 damage to each minion. Then shoot with that for 2 damage, down to 4. Rocket. Thwarts for 2. Valkyrie thwarts for 1, and Bug thwarts for 1. Then we're bringing in the Hulk to see what kind of nastiness he can do. So he's coming in, swinging for 3, taking him down to 1. And an extra 2 damage. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, and that's going to be what it takes to take out Drang. I was kind of hoping he would discard there so I could take care of that for an extra victory point. But I did not have the cards over here to deal with it, and I wasn't going to last another round, so that's for sure. All right, so Rocket and Groot also made some major mistakes. We're able to take on Drang, and it came down to the wire. So breaking out the scenario book, I do not have an extra copy of this, so I'm just taking some notes on a notepad for a victory. In the campaign log, record units in each player's respective unspent units box. Record 1 unit for each player. All right. Record a number of units for each player to a maximum of 3 equal to the victory values on the counter cards in the victory display. That is just going to be 2. Then record 1 unit for each player if there were no minions in play. No minions were left. So we're up to 4. Record 1 unit if we had the main scheme on stage 1. We went to 2. And then if the Badoon Headhunter is in the victory display, which he was, mark the box beside scenario 1, Brotherhood of Badoon in the Headhunter defeated section. So we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 units each to purchase things with. All right, so looking at our cards, a lot of the lower cost ones are going to do something bad to us, but good for us. So like place 2 threat on the main scheme, deal 3 damage to a villain and draw a card. So most of them are replacing themselves. I think I want to go something a bit heavier. I Armor plating. When an identity would take any amount of damage, exhaust the armor plating. Prevent 1 of that damage, 2 of that damage instead if you control the Milano. So we both have 4 cost. I think one of us is going to take that. It's a free upgrade. Then we've got some 1 cost upgrades. Removing threat from each scheme, which we need some help with, but one of these 2 is going to become a justice here shortly. Reactor core. Reduce the resource cost of the next event you play. Discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Everything else costs 5 or more, so we'll pass those on. And I think we're going to go with the damage with a heavy cannon. Assault's a heavy cannon. Deal 1 damage to each enemy if you control the Milano. Deal 1 additional damage to the villain. So I think that just feels like Rocket, so I'm going to give that to him. Which means Groot is going to get the armor plating. So they both got something for the Milano, so I can swap who controls that. So then we go on to the rest of our story. So the collection ship orbiting an alien world. The Badoon were sent to Earth by the Collector to capture the Reality Stone. He wants to collect all the Infinity Stones, and he already has the power. That wacko has an Infinity Stone. We're approaching his ship in stealth mode. So, okay, team, here's the plan. We get the stone and get out before anybody knows we're here. I am Groot. Right, new plan, fight our way out. Haha, yes. So that is where we're going. So next, scenario 2, we need to infiltrate the museum. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.